Happy New Year, guys! Here's my first video for 2025, which is another animated emote tutorial. I've been spending the past few days of January overthinking what video I should be making as my first, and I decided to just go to a comfort zone video, which is an animated emote tutorial. I went with the popcorn emote that I shared through Instagram Reels and Shorts, and I was able to screen record my process, which will be a good way to respond to those questions. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world and helps this channel grow. Now, let's get started. I made this emote using my older process style wherein I actually start animating the sketch first in order to see if the layering actually works. I no longer work that way. Before we go to Procreate Dreams, this is the breakdown of the layering that I did for this one. You can import the Procreate file directly into Dreams, and as you can see here, there is an option wherein you will be able to open the layers. So this is the fastest way to do it. For animated emotes, I use 1500 pixels and 20 to 24 FPS. My final FPS usually depends on the animation. If I need it to be longer, I go with 20 FPS, but if it's a quick one, I can go with 24 FPS because Twitch emotes have a limit of 60 frames. First things first, I organize the layers by grouping them together as well as setting the anchor points for each part. For the animation, I decided to start off with the popcorn toss so that when I already get the timing for it, everything else can just follow. For this one, I do a combination of rotation, positioning, and then warp. I'm applying the keyframes on a group layer because there are actually two frames in this. The first one is picking up a popcorn and the other one is tossing it. Next up is the head. For this one, I'm exclusively using warp just because it gives a more fluid transition. So what I'm doing here is just giving it this movement as if it's going up and down. But as you can see, there's more dynamic here since with warp, it's easier to move parts pretty separately even though it's just one image. I'm happy with that for the moment, and I'm now moving towards the facial features. For this one, it's also grouped. So I'm applying keyframes here that most specifically just use the position keyframe. Sequencing when it comes to animation is pretty important because it makes the flow easier when you apply keyframes to one another. So just like this one, I started with the head warp so that I can just follow the head movement with the face. As for the blinking animation, I'm just gonna use frame by frame here, specifically an eyes open and closed frames. I'm also applying the same format with the mouth with having an open and closed mouth frames. But for those, I'll be adding distort keyframing later. Here, I'm just adding a rough animation to the popcorn, specifically timing it as it goes into the mouth with opacity keyframe. I don't necessarily do this or finalize the animation at this point because I prefer doing that with the final illustration. I go back to the head layer and add a bit more dynamic to the hair movement, specifically the side parts. And as you can see here, it's really efficient when it comes to warp keyframing. Went back to the left hand here just to arrange the frames within the group and time it according to the loop. A small tip to add a smoother transition between two frames is to put opacity in between them. This is a good way to lessen an abrupt transition between two frames. Now we're going to the body part. For this one, just like the face, I'll be timing it with the head keyframes using warp. And finally, the back part of the hair. Just like with everything else, this is gonna be timed along with everything that's already been animated. Now that I'm happy with the rough animation, I'm gonna be keyframing the whole image as a group. For this one, I usually put a scale animation just to give it a bouncier dynamic. Now that I'm satisfied with my rough animation, I'm going back to Procreate and start rendering the emote. After that, as you can see here, I import them one by one on each group that I organize them in. My biggest tip when using Procreate Dreams for keyframe animation is utilizing the groups and doing the keyframes there instead. It's limited, you can't use warp or distort keyframes there, but that is okay because everything else from transform, rotate, even opacity and filters can be applied in a group layer, which is powerful enough because when you do that, you're able to replace or update the layers within it without having to do the keyframe all over again. Now that I'm importing the final illustration, I'm just replicating the keyframes that I did on the rough animation. This is also the part wherein I decide whether to add additional keyframe animations such as warp or distort to the specific parts. This additional process that I do is usually subjective. It depends on how detailed you want to be when it comes to the animation. So for this one, I just had a lot of fun making it because it's the first time I'm creating an animated emote like this. But you can keep it quick and simple because emotes are typically viewed in a small scale, specifically 112 pixels, which means what you really need to focus your animation on are the bigger movements. Here's a similar emote that I made that's quick, simple, but most of all, have fewer layers. You'll see that it still shows what the emote is about, which is eating cheese puffs. And now going back and updating each parts of the layers. For the frame-by-frame blink animation, I decided to put a middle frame in between the open and closed eyes. Right here, you can see me just arranging the frames according to the timing of the blink that I want to happen. And finally, importing the rest of the parts. Now that the final rendered illustrations have been imported, I can now finalize the animation one by one for each part. For some of them, specifically the ones that I used a warp animation on, I'm just gonna have to follow the keyframes and repeat them on the new layer. For the open mouth, I created two versions, and right now I'm viewing both of them, and I decided to go with the cuter one. For the mouth, I'm just finalizing the keyframes. So for this one, I decided to just go with a position change, up, down, sideways, and a little rotation or tilt for the part wherein she's chewing. Remember that there are also filters for effects such as opacity, Gaussian blur, and even hue and saturation. So for those kinds of effects, have fun with them and explore. You might notice that I'm lingering on this part pretty heavily because that's the essence of the emote. So of course I'm gonna have to pay extra attention with eating the popcorn. Now moving on to the rest of the layers. For this one, I don't need to address it in detail because what I'm basically doing is just tracing over the existing keyframes I already made from the rough animation. This is the reason why I switched up my process because if you think about it, it does take more time if I have to repeat doing the same keyframe animation on a new layer. So instead of doing the rough animation on the sketch, I just do it on the final illustrations. This is probably the part that I spent the most time finding the right timing to, which is the popcorn that's being tossed. My tip for this is you either make a video, find a video, or like me, find an animated GIF that already exists that I can see what the timing is like for a popcorn. After that, I'm just adding additional keyframes to those elements that I didn't make one on the rough animation. So this one is for the eyebrows. Just remember that when you make these, there's no final anything. You can always take it back, you can always do it again. So don't pressure yourself in getting it perfect at the first try, because there's no such thing. In fact, trial and error is very crucial when it comes to doing these things. For keyframe animation, what I really take a long time in doing is the timing, because there's still a lot of room for you to be able to change, do things faster, do things slower. So as you can see here, I'm moving the keyframes that I already made around. So for this one, it's really depending on how you're viewing your animation and if it feels just right. For animated emotes specifically, you should make sure that you're viewing them at a small scale, because that is exactly how it's going to be used and how it's going to be viewed by chat, and making sure that the movement is discernible to the viewer. One final thing you can do here is to actually crop the emote before you export it. As you can see here, since everything is already grouped, I'm able to scale it up or down depending on how I want it cropped. Now it's time to export, but first things first, you have to hide the background in order to export it into transparent PNGs. Procreate Dreams currently doesn't have its own GIF export, so what I usually do is export the PNG images or frames and then drag them to Procreate and then export them into animated GIF there. But Procreate Dreams is working on it for their next big Procreate Dreams update. And that's it. I hope that this video helped you guys see and understand how I created this emote. I actually have a few more emote videos that I can create a tutorial of. Let me know which of these 3 emotes would you like to see as my next emote tutorial. And once again, Happy New Year, everyone! Let's make this year an artful one. Let's embrace trial and error as well as just the love of creating. And now let's all go out there and make some art.